What is going on, IF Warriors? So today we're going to talk about a new study that just released. The study released in, September 27th, 2022 by KYC and colleagues, and it was a weight loss strategy, weight change, and type 2 diabetes in U.S. health professionals, a cohort study. So the cohort study looked at individuals that reported their data to doctors, to physicians from the period of 1988 all the way up to 2017. So for a lot of years. So they basically looked at all the different mechanisms or all the different tactics that they use during for weight loss when they were obese, for weight loss when they were just overweight, and for weight loss when they were lean. Now, it's interesting because one would think that losing weight is always a good thing, even if you're lean to a certain extent. There's still body fat that you're carrying, and there's still some weight that you can lose. People do understand, there are data and information out there for people to understand that if you are lean, losing more weight in terms of like being super lean is very dangerous, because you start to get to low percentages of body fat, and your body becomes much more weaker. Your organs start to shrink as your body is kind of oscillating between where it's receiving as energy, as to try to maintain as much body fat as possible. So we know those kind of things that happen when you're in a really low body fat percentage, but you can be lean and not be at a super low body fat percentage. So there's an interesting thing that's going on here. Now, the participants all use different weight loss strategies. So the WLS is what is referred to in this study, and they use a lot of different weight loss strategies. And they use fasting, for example. They use diet pills, for example. They've used exercise, a mixture of low-calorie diet with exercise, just low-calorie diet. Different kind of diets that are popular diets, that commercial diets and stuff like that. So they use so many different things, and they saw that the percentages of type 2 diet. I don't know why Siri just went out crazy. Anyways, so the percentages of people that were overweight and obese that use any of those methods, except with the diet pill being one of the worst ones. That was one of the ones that had a higher risk of health issues. But all the other ones were in line. Fasting wasn't too different in terms of the health issues when it came to type 2 diabetes or anything like low calorie diet or even exercising. What they saw was that there was a decrease in type 2 diabetes risk. It decreased by a significant amount. Of course, if you're obese, if you're overweight, because there are so many hormonal things going on in terms of inflammation and body fat tissues and visceral fat that's around the organs, a lot of this over aggressive fat tissue carrying too much fat in your body causes different things to happen that can go against you and lends to type 2 diabetes. But the interesting thing is that these numbers are inverted when you are lean. So if for anybody that's going to reach their goals, this is something that maybe you should be thinking about. Now, this is not a controlled study, of course, but this is a cohort study. It had over 200,000 people in it, and it was over the course of like 20 plus years. So it's an important breakdown. But when you look at the way the study works, or what happened to those who were lean, the numbers were inverted. Lean people who lost weight or tried to lose more weight actually ended up increasing their type 2 diabetes risk. Their percentages the percentage risk for type 2 diabetes, the numbers were almost inverted. That's how crazy different it was. Now, you have to understand, when you're overweight or when you're obese and you're carrying so much body fat on you, or you're carrying this abundance of body fat, there are hormonal things that are happening that are much different to those who are lean, who are not carrying an abundance of body fat. And because these hormonal things are happening, one thing requires something else while the other requires something else. For example, having a lot of body fat requires to reduce it. Not having that much body fat doesn't necessarily require for you to continue to lose it. Now, they saw that those who were lean, who attempted to lose weight, actually gained the weight back and then some. And those who were overweight were able to much easier lose the weight and lower their risk of type 2 diabetes and not gain it back as much as the lean people who continue to try to lose weight even when being lean. And the best method to sustain weight loss that was seen in this cohort study was exercise. Interjecting exercise into any of the things that you're doing, be it fasting, low calorie diet, whatever you're doing, interjecting exercise and being consistent with exercise, that helped with maintaining weight loss. But it's a cautionary tale for people who are lean that want to continue to try to lose weight. You should probably move on to being in maintenance. And this is important for anybody out there who's reached this level but still wants to do certain things like intermittent fasting or still wants to keep their diet regimen. You can, but you still have to be mindful of your calorie intake. You want to be at a maintenance level. You don't want to be continuously nonstop losing weight because you're going to end up gaining it back, and it's increasing the percentages of type 2 diabetes based on this study, which is an interesting fact. It's a very interesting fact. It's always been told to you that type 2 diabetes is tied to weight gain. So when you lose weight, it's always a good thing for type 2 diabetes. But it looks like that may not be the case when it comes to being lean and continuing to try to lose weight. So just keep that in mind. There's too much of anything is almost always a bad thing, regardless of what it is. Water, too much of that could be a bad thing. Anything. So this is one of those kind of situations where it's like, look, too much of anything could be a bad thing. If you reach a certain point, you have to start changing your strategy and not continue on the same path just simply out of fear of gaining weight. People have so much fear of regaining weight that they just continue to lose weight, and that's not the strategy that you should be applying. So some of you haven't reached that point yet, some of you have, but for those who haven't, be mindful of this by the time you reach there, and for those who have reached there, you should be mindful of this as well. I'm gonna have the link down into the description box below so you guys can take a look at it for yourself. All right, until the next one.